Hello there everybody, SeKo Starcraft here, doing a bit of a custom game. One of the fans of the show tracked me down, wanted to play some games. I kind of cheesed them out on the first game we played, and this is game number 2 where I decided to play it straight up macro-ish. So I'm going to speed it up a bit because it's just going to give me a chance to kind of go through his game, talk a little bit about his play style, maybe help him out with a few pointers, make things go a little bit better, because yeah, it was one of those games that if you just kind of give people the opportunity to just play straight up macro, just hardcore at it, there's certain ways you're going to get further ahead. And maybe he's a little bit concerned in this game, because I did do a proxy hatch, like zergling cheese on the first game when he played Protoss. So he played Terran on this one because I think this is his preferred race. And saying this is a macro game, I'm obviously going of the mindset that he's going to try to play macro as well. So I'll be going hatch first, and just working on getting out a huge economy. And there's a different kind of style you should have in your mind if you're sure that you're not going to get attacked for a while. How do you just go and play mega macro, like the whole 15-minute no-touch style? You should have a way in your mind that you will play like that just to be as strong as possible. He will go out for a scout here nice and early, which is smart. Delayed gas, delayed double gas. This could be pretty interesting here from Delmn. I'm not too sure if that's going into. Okay, maybe he just wanted the one gas. Getting some Marines out just to make sure he stays alive. And he'll go and check all the corners. My overlords are going in the wrong directions. As we can see from me, I'm just going to be macroing up like a beast. Uses his first scan. I'm going to say that's generally a mistake. I mean, you do want to make sure that you can see what's going on with your opponent. But it's so unlikely that your opponent is going to just straight up bust you if you got a wall and some Marines down. You should feel pretty safe, and if you're not, you know, build your command center on the high ground and take a bunker on the low ground first. Because that scan is, I think, 270 minerals. So that first scan, very important to use to jumpstart your economy. I do have one spine crawler down because I don't dismiss the fact that he could just push across the map with a bunch of Marines and I'd have nothing here. So that's a bit of a waste on my part, but that one spine crawl will deter most basic Marine pushes. We'll get down a roach warren here just because I'm planning on using roaches to keep myself alive while I move into a huge macro focus style game. So out of him here, you can see he's actually got pretty good balance. Did he cancel it? You should get that stim started as soon as possible. Like as soon as you get enough minerals, get that stim going. Such a valuable tool in the early game. He's getting out Marines and Marauders. I do scout up here with a zergling and see that front. We'll slow it back down again here and talk through the stuff. 11 workers behind this. Once again, I feel perfectly safe behind this wall. We can see the difference in workers. 44 workers to 17. And this is the kind of thing I run into a lot. My buddy here, Dlemn, is in Silver League. That I run into a lot with players kind of lower down is that they feel they got to get out a ton of units so they don't die. Whereas for me, I'm getting as little units as possible, and pro players kind of play in the same mindset. If you're getting out units, you should be attacking with them. If you're not attacking or you're not being attacked, you should be getting out economy, because right now I'm pulling so far ahead, and I've got essentially no defenses. My first few roaches are going down now, just so that way I've got a little bit of defense if we pushed out with something. Pretty oversaturated on this one base here. Lots and lots of larva injects, so I'm going to be pulling ahead quite a bit. Third hatch going down. A little bit late. I think I got that around about the 7.5 minute mark. 7-minute mark is a comfortable time to get down that third hatch. I scout in here now. I see double factory, double racks. And the only time I see this is if somebody's going mass widow mine. But I don't think that's the case. And I can scout and see his saturation here is so poor. We can see that his mineral bank is really high. If we're playing a macro game, and unless he's afraid I'm going to attack him, it's so very important to keep building those workers. Queue them up if you have to, but you've got to get that worker advantage, or at least stay on track with the zerg player. That zerg player can just macro up freely. He's just going to run away with the game. Scans the main once again. Put my spine crawler back in here to deal with drops, and still hitting all my injects. Using up a lot of his scans, and on such a poor economy, 21 workers, that's a lot of minerals to use up on those scans. Getting that creep spread moving. Enough roaches out front to make sure I'm staying alive against anything. And now it's just macro. Now it's just get it going. Macro hatch in base. Lots of overlords trying to stay as far ahead as I can on my supply. 7 more workers. Double evo chambers going down. And for me, as part of this macro, is I'm not rushing to get out my upgrades. I'm gonna get out a good chunk of workers. Good defense. It's a lot of roaches. That'll handle a lot of stuff that's coming at me. And he's getting down a ton of missile turrets. Now this is a problem. Like if you scan and you don't see the spire, that's also so much defense. And the funny thing about this is it doesn't really protect the mineral line. Like I can come and snipe at the hatchery, take out all the production. So having your missile turrets like this doesn't necessarily protect you that much. And you really can't afford to be doing that. So we can see the supply difference right now is really rolling. And I'm getting all my tech, spire, infestation pit, 4th base, hydraulic den, upgrades. Just flying ahead right now on everything. Creep spread starting to work its way out. Right now it's the gas that's very important for me. Even some static defense because I've got so many workers out. 68 workers, not quite where I wanted to be at, but I did spend a bunch on those static defense. And we can see that our buddy Delmn down here, once again, he's got an army, but he's not doing anything with it. That's when you want to get all these medevacs. Maybe just try a drop, see what happens. And a good technique that I tell people as I'm kind of coach them is just go between your bases. Like, just move between your two bases, see like, okay, look, this mineral line is way undersaturated. Make some more workers. My front end isn't defended well enough. Should be. Minerals, I've got a lot. Maybe I'll take my next base, which I am scouting for right now. Barracks, is everything hotkeyed. This mineral line, undersaturated. Maybe I need more. Upgrades, not being built right now. Do I need my armory? And you can use that as just a checklist to run through what you should be doing. That way, if you get panicked or you're getting attacked, you'll know how to stay ahead of everything. Map vision for me is great. I've got both the watchtowers, a zergling right out front. Overlords in position on the back here to scout for the 3rd. We've got a 5th base going down. Good sized Roach Hydra army, plus 2 upgrades on the way. And now moving into swarm hosts as well. 11 more workers popping out, because I spent a bunch on more static defenses. Hive going down and doing Locust about to finish up. Just in a great spot overall with what's going on. And this is the beauty of having this whole, I can feel invincible at this moment here. So he's got his tanks down, he's got defenses, but it doesn't look like he's really in a position to attack anytime soon. And this is where double command center, it's very nice, more production facilities. He's finally spending that money, but he's still not making it anywhere near fast enough. We look at the income tab, 30 workers to 73. And even with mules there, you can see that I'm still really dominating on both categories. Double the gas, and just about double the minerals. Oh, he's caught up in minerals because of the mules. For me, big creep spread. I'm going to siege up his front end using the swarm hosts. He scans the swarm hosts, so he should know what's coming. All the Hydralis upgrades are done. 2-2 finishing up soon. All the Roach upgrades are done. I'm going to be maxed out here in just a second. So I'm doing good. Now the queens essentially don't need to be injecting because I've got so much larva banked up. They're just going to go and move creep like a maniac everywhere. Moving overlords to all the key positions, looking for hidden bases. A very important thing to do. If you've got all the extra minerals, just send an overlord to all of your different corners. That way you'll know if you're into any trouble. Some overseers in the army. And he's actually moving into ravens, which I think is really smart, but it's so hard to afford raven, tank, 4 racks on this kind of income, 31 workers. He's actually using his workers. Don't use your workers to kill the rocks. You've got army. That's their job. You're paying them to kill stuff. Does have that 3rd base in position, but now the locusts are here. And I'm maxed out. Tons of stuff. So he's already in essentially almost an unwinnable position just because of how crazy the creep spread is. Static defenses at home to keep everything alive. Lots of swarm hosts spitting free units across. I have this Roach Hydra army to be able to deal with drops if they try to drop on my swarm hosts. Spore crawlers in position. I've watched enough games of Liquid Snoot play to know exactly how to do this swarm host. Not as good as him, of course. Nobody's as good as he is. But I have everything in place. Even getting my flyer upgrades. 3-3 is started. And for my opponent here, his upgrades very, very poor. 1-1 for his bio. No upgrades for his tanks. So I'm actually going to be able to just everything's at my whim at this point. 2nd spire going down. And when I say, what should the Terran be doing at this point? It's already so far behind, is that you got to keep building workers. Still at only 31 harvesters, and you just can't afford to produce fast enough. Like, you need 10 tanks out with upgrades to really hold this off. And there's just not enough saturation of these bases to be able to hold off against free units. As you see, 2 tanks against this well-upgraded locust just can't hold back this charge. Even more stack defense is going down. Creep. Creep's amazing. Love me doing some creep like this. Just 3 queens non-stop moving creep in the middle of the map. Roaches and Hydra with the great upgrades to defend everything. 3 starports, but you can see his spending. He's actually got room to be spending more quickly. It's a bit of a risk. You want to keep all of your tanks kind of together in this situation. Looks like he wants to maybe push out and siege this front line. But yeah, you're not going to get past on that. Spores in position to keep everything alive. And this is kind of what happens when you get somebody that's very experienced at Silver League and up against somebody who's got a little bit more experience playing these kind of late game siege up styles. And it's just slowly picking away at him here. More Vikings. He wants to have that air dominance, which is smart. You want that Viking Raving mix. But it's the tanks that are really going to keep you alive against this bombardment. I moved this guy into position because you may have noticed there's a Nidus Worm happening on the tab here. And this is just me, like, you want to be able to finish the game off with a little bit of style. The guy wanted to play some 1v1s. I'm actually going to switch into Mutas after this if I do lose everything, but I don't know if I'm going to lose anything. Locusts just picking apart everything one by one. And I don't even know if I know this base is down here or not. Moving forward, more spores, more creep. These guys are very well protected. You can kind of maybe scoot over on this side, which I got the Hydras over here to be able to help defend that. Locusts just crushing through. Lots of energy on these command centers. Almost full energy on all of them. That is like 3,000 minerals worth of mules. Be worth spending that up. Sometimes if you're getting sieged like this, maybe float a command center over. That's sometimes nice. I am moving overlords into position to scout for such a thing. Up comes the Nidus with my 3-3 Roach Hydra army pushing through. And at the same time, the Locusts are still crushing base at the front end, so we really can't afford to move too much out of the way. Supply blocked. Getting right on top of all the supply depots. I actually snipe all the Ravens on purpose there because the Seeker missiles are just cool. I'm actually going to drop some creep tumors in here just to be a little bit of a bugger. And then just run away. Snipe the medevacs. I could probably snipe these tanks and just run over here and kill everything, but he wants to stay in this game a little bit longer. Give him a little bit of experience trying to hold this stuff off. Oh, he doesn't even have vision of this over here. Oh, now he does. Queens back out front. Spew on the creep. Move forward slowly. Get into position. That's just funny. I love doing that and just start moving creep over people's bases. He's obviously got lots of scans saved up, but not really the point. See the base down on this side. I'm just going to push in that way. And he had obviously, well, he's actually got tons of money to spend. He's just not spending it right now. And this is where all the hotkeys are set up well. Maybe he's just kind of going AFK at this moment, but this is where you really got to kick in those hotkeys and keep producing units, fall back into your base. I mean, the game's over, but just as a point of reference for things you can do at this point. Roaches and Hydras coming in on the other side. 3-3 Locusts will obviously just cleave through these tanks so fast. Snipe the bases. And that's pretty much the rest of it. The problem with siege tanks, yeah. This way, rationalize things a little bit, is they do a lot of damage. But yeah, they're pretty vulnerable. So what you need is actually a lot of siege tanks. Maybe even put a command center as a block out front. But honestly, it's just giving, you know, the Zerg player this much time to do this much stuff. You're gonna have a bad time. So, fan game, for anybody else out there who does want to play some fan games with me or against some of the people in my clan, get in touch with me, SeKo Starcraft, and we'll talk with everybody later.